All right, we're finally on live here. Let's see if we've got everything. We've got okay. Welcome, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and welcome to Lucas Bindry, who has joined us on Instagram. Thank you. And yeah, we're finally live. Okay. I had a little technical glitch with LinkedIn, so but we got it going, so that's good. So tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and put all my address stuff in here like I do every week. Rare and Antiquarian Bookfinders for the store. .com. And let's get our other one too, which is let me get the other one on here too. Other store, which is more of a collectibles / kind of everything. There's books on there too, but they're newer books. Get on here in just a minute. All right. So we have both stores on there. We are on biblio.com too. I'm going to turn off this fan here. It's a little bit loud. But we, I don't have that address memorized. So I don't have it on here, but I can put it on later. That's fine. But if you like biblio.com, which is, I really like it, actually a little bit better than eBay, but it's a whole different type of website than eBay is because it's geared towards towards books. It's not as much of a store type thing, so everyone has, their own domain or whatever, but it's not like it's everything. It's just books. So anyway, I like Biblio, and I am also on Abe Books as well. I don't have as big a presence on Abe Books because it's really just my most expensive items on there. So they run into, the thousands as far as worth goes. So I don't have, I guess I don't have as many things on there because of that. So, but anyway, so things are going well. We're getting stocked up for Christmas season and, the fall and everything. My brain is already on fall and Halloween and that type of thing. So that's kind of the types of things that I'm leaning towards sourcing right now. And then, of course, Christmas. We always think of that year round because it takes that long for me to get things really stocked up and sourced and that kind of thing. And of course, I always have people calling me about, hey, do you have this? Or, we're looking for this or, whatever. Um, so I'm always looking for things for people or just, in general in the store, things that I'm out of. Um, so that's always happening as well. So tonight I'll be doing the summer reading. We're still doing summer reading, but I wanted to show you a couple things I came across. These are poetry books, and which I thought I should probably stock up on a little bit, but they're very nice. They're both, I got 3 of them, and they're all Lord Alfred Tennyson. This one is called Ideals of the King, and they're leather. This one is leather. Um, Actually, leather bound. It's in really nice condition. Let me see if I can get that light out of the way for you guys on here. And I'm sure Instagram will be able to see a lot better than the other. But this is the spine and the front of it. Sorry, and then the inside is really pretty. It's got all the pretty paper, marbled paper, and of course this is gold gilt on the edges, so it's a really nice copy. And I don't know if you guys saw that either, but it's got some really nice marbled paper on the inside, and it looks really good. So that's one that is not online yet, but it's coming. And then here's another called Tennyson's Poems. It's, of course, Lord Alfred Tennyson. And it's in really nice shape. It has a little bit of like a book plate type things in the inside, and a couple owners' signatures. Which, I mean, it's an old book. It's dated 1871. So this is one of these copies that was put out by Harper's. It's called the Harper's Complete Edition, and it's very well illustrated, and it's a very nice book. I haven't priced these yet. I am assuming they will be below 100, but I'm not yet quite sure where I'm going to be at with that. This one is kind of plain in the back, and it's pretty. It's got a little bit of wear right here. You can see that right there for you guys as well. But I don't know. It's a very pretty book, and it's got a lot of illustrations in there. So, and lots and lots of poems. So sometimes I should just read you guys poetry. That would be fun, huh? So, so this is interactive. If anyone wants to chat with me, I will see it. And if you have questions about the stores or anything, please feel free. For those of you on YouTube, you can hit the like buttons on my videos over there, and you can also subscribe. I think I have a few subscribers, which I wasn't even trying to do. But yeah, those are on YouTube. I have other repair work videos, repair work videos over on YouTube as well, besides these that I'm reading, doing the reading. And so, if you are so inclined. Oh, hi, Patricia. Dick and Jane. Do I have Dick and Jane books? Or, yeah, I do have several Dick and Jane books, actually, in the store. So if you just search Dick and Jane, I think you would come up with what I have. I just sold an Elson reader, too, so those are kind of popular. But I do have, I know which one you're looking for, I do have almost a whole set here that I could look and see which one, if I have it, which one you're looking for and everything. So, but yeah, so anyway, to finish my thought, so if you are so inclined and you would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I do have one. For those of you on YouTube that are watching me, you already know that, but I had to make one for something else one time. So yes, I am on there. And these are on there as well. My lives are on there too. So our reading for tonight is still in Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. And so we're still doing that. And I'm trying to get through 2 chapters per night. If they're not super long. If one's longer, then I'll probably just do one at a time. But it's just kind of the way it goes with that book. But it's getting pretty good now. So I think they're getting ready to get on the ship and that kind of thing, or the boat that they went on. So I'm going to go ahead and start that so we can get through as much as we possibly can tonight. Agatha Christie is probably my favorite author. So Patricia, I am on here. I'm on Facebook as Rare and Antiquarian Bookfinders. We have a whole Facebook page there that's pretty active. So you can get on there and like the page and message me through there if you'd like. And I can help you out with whatever you need. Let's see. I'm trying to find the page. Should be on here. I have a sticky note. Oh yeah, we're on chapter 5. Okay. We will get going here. Okay, so chapter 5. On the following morning, Simon Doyle joined Hercule Poirot as the latter was leaving the hotel to walk down to the town. "Good morning, Mr. Poirot." "Good morning, Mr. Doyle." "You're going to the town? Mind if I stroll along with you?" "But certainly, I shall be delighted." The 2 men walked side by side, passed out through the gate, and turned into the cool shade of the gardens. Then Simon removed his pipe from his mouth and said, "I understand, Mr. Poirot, that my wife had a talk with you last night." "That is so." Simon Doyle was frowning a little. He belonged to that type of men of action who find it difficult to put thoughts into words and who have trouble in expressing themselves clearly. "I'm glad of one thing," he said. "You've made her realize that we're more or less powerless in this matter." "There is clearly no legal redress," agreed Poirot. "Exactly." Lynette didn't seem to understand that. He gave a faint smile. "Lynette's been brought up to believe that every annoyance can automatically be referred to the police." "It would be pleasant if such were the case," said Poirot. There was a pause. Then Simon said suddenly, his face going very red as he spoke, It's infamous that she should be victimized like this. She's done nothing. If anyone likes to say I behaved like a cad, they're welcome to say so. I suppose I did, but I won't have the whole thing visited on Lynette. She had nothing whatever to do with it." Poirot bowed his head gravely, but said nothing. Have you talked to Jackie, Mr. Belfort?" "Yes, I have spoken with her." "Did you get her to see sense?" "I'm afraid not." Simon broke out irritably. "Can't she see what an ass she's making of herself? Doesn't she realize that no decent woman would behave as she is doing? Has she got any pride or self-respect?" Poirot shrugged his shoulders. "She has only a sense of injury, shall we say," he replied. "Yes, but, damn it all, man decent girls don't behave like this. I admit I was entirely to blame. I treated her badly and all that. I should quite understand her being thoroughly fed up with me and never wishing to see me again. But this following me around, it's indecent, making a show of herself. What the devil does she hope to get from it? Perhaps revenge? Idiotic. I'd really understand better if she'd tried to do something melodramatic, like taking a pot shot at me. You think that would be more like her? Yes? Frankly, I do. She's hot blooded and she's got an ungovernable temper. I shouldn't be surprised at her doing anything while she was in a white hot rage. But the spying business, he shook his head. It's more subtle. Yes, it is intelligent. Doyle stared at him. You don't understand. It's playing hell with Lynette's nerves. And yours? Simon looked at him with momentary surprise. Me? I'd like to wring the little devil's neck. There is nothing, then, of the old feeling left? My dear Mr. Perot, how can I put it? It's like the moon and the sun. It's like the moon when the sun comes out. You don't know it's there anymore. When once I'd met Lynette, Jackie didn't exist. I beg your pardon? Your smile interested me, that's all. Again flushing, Simon said, I suppose Jackie told you that I'd only married Lynette for her money. Well, that's not true. I wouldn't marry any woman for money. What Jackie doesn't understand is that it's difficult for a fellow when a woman cares for him as she cared for me. Ah? Perrault looked up sharply. Simon blundered on. It sounds a caddish thing to say, but Jackie was too fond of me. And what's that you say? You see, a man doesn't want to feel that a woman cares for more for him than he does for her. His voice grew warm as he went on. He doesn't want to feel owned, body and soul. It's that possessive attitude. This man is mine. He belongs to me. That sort of thing. I can't stick. No man could stick. He wants to get away, to get free. He wants to own his woman. He doesn't want her to own him. He broke off, and with fingers that trembled slightly, he lit a cigarette. Perrault said, and it is like that you felt with Mademoiselle Jacqueline? Eh? Simon stared and then admitted, yes. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I did. She doesn't realize that, of course, and it's that not that sort of thing I could ever tell her, but I was feeling restless, and then I met Lynette, and she just swept me off my feet. I've never seen anything so lovely. It was all so amazing. Everyone kowtowing to her, and then her singling out a poor chump like me. His tone held boyish awe and astonishment. I see, said Perrault. He nodded thoughtfully. Yes, I see. Why can't Jackie take it like a man? Demanded Simon resentfully. A very faint smile twitched Perrault's upper lip. Well, you see, Mr. Doyle, to begin with, she is not a man. No, but I meant take it like a good sport. After all, you've got to take your medicine when it comes to you. The fault's all mine, I admit. But there it is. If you no longer care for a girl, it's simply madness to marry her. And now that I see what Jackie's really like, and the lengths she is likely to go to, I feel I'd had rather a lucky escape. The lengths she is likely to go to, Perrault repeated thoughtfully. Have you an idea, Mr. Doyle, what those links are? Simon looked at him rather startled. No, at least, what do you mean? You know she carries a pistol about with her. Simon frowned, then shook his head. I don't believe she'll use that now. She might have done so earlier, but I believe it's got past that. She's just spiteful now, trying to take it out on us both. Perrault shrugged his shoulders. It may be so, he said doubtfully. It's Lynette I'm worrying about, declared Simon, somewhat unnecessarily. I quite realize that, said Perrault. I'm not really afraid of Jackie doing any melodramatic shooting stuff, but the spying and following business has absolutely got Lynette on the raw. I'll tell you the plan I've made, and perhaps you can suggest improvements on it. To begin with, I've announced fairly openly that we're going to stay here 10 days. But tomorrow the steamer Karnak starts from Shalal to Wadi Haifa, I think is how you say that. I propose to book passages on that under an assumed name. Tomorrow we'll go on an excursion to Fillet. Lynette's maid can take the luggage. We'll join the Karnak at Shalal. When Jackie finds we don't come back, it will be too late. We shall be well on our way. She'll assume we have given her the slip and gone back to Cairo. In fact, I might even bribe the porter to say so. Inquiry at the tourist office won't help her, because our names won't be appear. How does that strike you? It is well imagined, yes. And suppose she waits here till you return. We may not return. We could go on to Khartoum, and then perhaps by air to Kenya. She can't follow us all over the globe. No, there must come a time when financial reasons forbid. She has very little money, I understand. Simon looked at him with admiration. That's clever of you, do you know? I hadn't thought of that. Jackie's as poor as they make them. And yet she has managed to follow you so far, Simon said doubtfully. She's got a small income, of course, something under 200 a year. I imagine, I suppose. Yes, I suppose she must have sold out the capital to do what she's doing, so that the time will come when she has exhausted her resources and is quite penniless. Yes. Simon wrinkled uneasily. The thought seemed to make him uncomfortable. Perrault watched him attentively. No, he remarked. No, it is not a pretty thought. Simon said rather angrily, well, I can't help it. Then he added, what do you think of my plan? I think it may work, yes, but it is, of course, a retreat. Simon flushed. You mean we're running away? Yes, that's true, but Lynette. Perrault watched him, then gave a short nod. As you say, it may be the best way, but remember, Mademoiselle de Belfort has brains. Simon said somberly, some day I feel we've got to make a stand and fight it out. Her attitude isn't reasonable. Reasonable, said cried Perrault. There's no reason why women shouldn't behave like rational beings, Simon asserted stolidly. Perrault said dryly, quite frequently they do. That is even more upsetting, he added. I too shall be on the Karnak. It is part of my itinerary. Oh, Simon hesitated, then said, choosing his words with some embarrassment, that isn't on our account in any way. I mean, I wouldn't like to think. Perrault disabused him quickly. Not at all. It was all arranged before I left London. I always make my plans well in advance. You don't just move on from place to place as fancy takes you? Isn't the latter really pleasanter? Perhaps, but to succeed in life, every detail should be arranged and well beforehand. Simon laughed and said, "That is how the more skilful murderer behaves, I suppose." "Yes, though I must admit that the most brilliant crime I remember, and one of the most difficult to solve, was committed on the spur of the moment." Simon said boyishly, "You must tell us something about your cases on board the Karnak." "No, no, that would be to talk, what you call it, the shop." "Yes, but your kind of shop is rather thrilling. Mrs. Allerton thinks so. She's longing to get a chance to cross-question you." "Mrs. Allerton? That is the charming gray-haired lady who was such a devoted son, who has such a devoted son?" "Yes, she'll be on the Karnak, too." "Does she know that? Does she know that you—" "Certainly not," said Simon with emphasis. "Nobody knows. I've gone on the principle that it's better not to trust anybody. An admirable sentiment, and one which I always adopt. By the way, the third member of your party, the tall gray-haired man, Pennington? Yes, he is traveling with you?" Simon said grimly, "Not very usual on a honeymoon, you were thinking. Pennington is Lynette's American trustee. We ran across him by chance in Cairo." "Ah, Raymond, you permit a question? She is of age, madame, your wife?" Simon looked amused. "She isn't actually 21 yet, but she hadn't got to ask anyone's consent before marrying me. It was the greatest surprise to Pennington. He left New York on the Carmanac 2 days before Lynette's letter got there telling him of our marriage, so he knew nothing about it." "The Carmanac," murmured Perrault. "It was the greatest surprise to him when we ran into him at Shepherd's in Cairo." "That was indeed the coincidence." "Yes, and we found that he was coming on the Nile trip, so naturally we foregathered. Couldn't have done anything else decently. Perhaps besides that, it's been, well, a relief in some ways." He looked embarrassed again. "You see, Lynette's been all strung up, expecting Jackie to turn up anywhere and everywhere. While we were alone together, the subject kept coming up. Andrew Pennington's a help that way. We have to talk of outside matters." "Your wife has not confided in Mr. Pennington?" "No." Simon's jaw looked aggressive. "It's nothing to do with anyone else. Besides, when we started on this Nile trip, we thought we'd seen the end of the business." Perrault shook his head. "You have not seen the end of it yet." "No, the end is not yet at hand. I am very sure of that." "I say, Mr. Perrault, you're not very encouraging." Perrault looked at him with a slight feeling of irritation. He thought to himself, the Anglo-Saxon, he takes nothing seriously but playing games. He does not grow up. Lynette Doyle, Jacqueline de Belfort, both of them took the business seriously enough, but in Simon's attitude he could find nothing but male impatience, and annoyance. He said, "You will permit me an impertinent question. Was it your idea to come to Egypt for your honeymoon?" Simon flushed. "No, of course not. As a matter of fact, I'd rather have gone anywhere else, but Lynette was absolutely set upon it. And so, he stopped rather lamely. "Naturally," said Perrault gravely. He appreciated the fact that if Lynette Doyle was set upon anything, that thing had to happen. He thought to himself, "I have now heard 3 separate accounts of the affair: Lynette Doyle's, Jacqueline de Belfort's, Simon Doyle's. Which of them is nearest to the truth?" And that ends chapter 5. Let me check chapter 6 here. Welcome the Antique Store in Wayne, and welcome, I'm trying to read that, Elle Farley. Welcome to the Instagram people. Nice to have you. Let's see, it's already 8:07. I think I will end it there tonight because chapter 6 is kind of big. And let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with chapter 6 next week. And then we will keep going. And hopefully we will end the book by the end of the summer. I'm hoping that works out really well. So anyway, if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I should be able to see them. If you don't, that's fine. And we will be back here next week at 7:30. And I will resume chapter 6. And we'll see what happens when they get on the ship. So thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I really enjoy reading. Oh, thank you, Quint. Bye. I really enjoy reading Agatha Christie, anything. So we will do that next week. We'll start with chapter 6. And I want you all to have a good week. And you can leave comments. Like I said, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. So we will see you next week. Alrighty. Thank you. Bye. All right, Patricia, get a hold of me on Facebook if at all possible. And I have all the websites on here already. So if you want to get a hold of me through there, that'd be fine too. Okay, thanks.